Hi, Ordin is going to interview Elaman's dad, and my partner Elaman is going to be the first person to ask a few questions.
What were the most common psychological issues people facing during the quarantine?
I think anxiety, depression, panic attacks, no control of different drugs, for example. I think it is the most common thing. I think this kind of desperation that they feel by being in their houses with no social contact, it was the most common issues that we have in this time. Even like fear of death, I think it was very common. And when they lose some familiar, this kind of feeling that they don't have the time to say goodbye with their families, this kind of fault that they have in their lives, it was the most common.
Thank you for the answer.
Have you noticed an increase in disorders like depression or anxiety compared to the period before the pandemic?
Yes, it was an increase, a considerable increase in this kind of disorders. I think it's natural because the pandemic was not like it was very impactful in the lifestyle of the people. In times or in the main time of I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks, all the people was enclosed in their houses, so it changed the lifestyle of all the people in the city. So it increased. I think that the population was not prepared for this kind of situation. They doesn't know how to handle this kind of time in their houses. So the anxiety, the insomnia, the panic attacks, and depression was very present in the life of the people because they doesn't know how to handle their life. So I think that it was the primary things that they called me. It was for this kind of disorder.
How did the therapy practice adapt to the restrictions of quarantine?
In the beginning, was very difficult because we are not like in that way in the session because we used to be face-to-face sessions and it was a very difficult in the beginning because a lot of therapists doesn't know how to use the technology like FaceTime or this kind of meeting in Google. So the challenge was very huge because we need to learn very fast how to help in online sessions, and I think that we need to find places where we can hear in peace, and we need to find a very good camera or technology or even the kind of like laptop or computer that works with the online, or even we need to learn about the internet, how fast is the internet, and we need to invest in that kind of knowledge that we are not like used to manage. So it was a very huge jump for another kind of learning, but it was very successful for a lot of therapists.
How did the quarantine affect different age groups psychologically?
It was like it depends. For example, the adults group, I think they are more worried about the money, for example, or they need to go out to work, and they was very worried to go in their houses and contagious all the family. So it was very difficult for this kind of group, and they learn like anxiety and panic attack and all these kind of things. And for the children, it was different because they want to go outside, or even the social like skills. They lose a lot of social skills because they doesn't know how to face-to-face play and go to this kind of communication that is more important in person. So it depends on the age, and it depends for the activities that they regularly do. It was the impact that they have in these cases.
Do you think the emotional connection is different in virtual sessions compared to in-person sessions, and why?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's very different because when you are in contact with the persons, you can see like movements or even feelings. Also, when you have like online like sessions, maybe sometimes you cut the sound, or maybe the online or the internet it's cut, so the environmental is cut. So I think it's a lot of difference, but you need in that moment you need to do it in that way because it is not another way to do it, and it was a lot of people that needs this kind of help. So it is a lot of difference between personal sessions and virtual sessions, but the both ways are very successful for the mental health in the
Do you consider that the demand of your service has changed after the pandemic?
Yes, I think that it was increased because in the situation of the pandemic is very like particular. I think that for example, the social distance and the anxiety, maybe the social movements, it will change. So a lot of people start with depression, so panic attacks and all this kind of stuff. So I think that it increased. I think like 100% of increase for the services.
What strategies were the most effective in helping people with the COVID situation?
It was like a lot of people just doesn't know how to do with a lot of time. I think the internet helps a lot to find a way that they pass time in their houses. I think that a lot of people doesn't know how to be with their families. I think that there was very common that they only see in the mornings and in the nights, even for Mexicans. In that time, they pass 24 hours of the day each another, and it was very difficult to how to communicate one to another and how to get some rules of communication. So I think one of the best skills is they need to find something to do with their own time, and they need to concentrate in progress even in their houses. They need to find how to learn some new skills, for example, and how to develop some abilities. And I don't know, I think that it was a lot of different things that they find to do with their time, and even to take sessions with the psychologists and to take time for themselves. It was very helpful for the mental health that they have in the time.
How did COVID-19 quarantine impact mental health trends?
I think it was like very impactful for the life of the Mexicans. It was a study that say that the resilience of the Mexicans is very high than another population in the world. So we have a lot of troubles in the time life of the people. I think that the trends before the pandemic was like another kind of disorders. And in the pandemic time, it was like very common that people feels like depressed or alone, or they doesn't have how to handle their emotions. Even they start to take some substance to substitute the feelings that they have in that moment. So I think they change a lot of the way that we see the world in that time, because it was the first time that we see the death face to face, very near to our families. So I think that it was very impactful for us to trade this kind of feelings with the people that call us, because almost all the people that call us, they lose some families, they die. So it was very difficult for us.
How do you handle the lack of nonverbal communication in virtual sessions?
It was difficult. I think that it is this is the most difficult thing with virtual sessions, because when you lose the communication in the right time, it is difficult to recover the timing. So it is what it is. So we need to handle with these kind of situations, and when we have this kind of situation, we need to find how to recover the connection with the patient. I think we need to find different ways to get this kind of connection with the patient, because we don't have this control. It is a lack of communication, or we don't have this kind of face-to-face presence. It is difficult to have a perfect session. So we need to work in that way, and step by step doing the best we can do it.
Thank you.
What lessons have psychologists learned from the quarantine that can be applied in future crises?
For me,
Yes.
I think it's like more the potential to learn new things. I think that in the past I only see the sessions face to face, for example, and now I think that the virtual sessions are very available to do, and they work very well. Actually, I have some patients that they prefer to do it online right now, even that the COVID pandemic it is at the end, so they prefer to continue in online way. So I think in the future I need to be more prepared for this kind of contention that maybe we can have. I think that I need to learn more about the mental health system in the state. So I need to be prepared for take advantage for the things that are happening right now in the present. So we need to prepare every day with new knowledge that we can help the new generations, or the new things that maybe could happen, the new COVID that maybe could be